let's stop putting babies in front of television. Let's make that a campaign here. I think of marketing to children as a social political issue. It's not just an issue for families. And as a social political issue, I think that we need to deal with it in the way that we deal with issues that are social political issues. Essentially, we need a movement. And I also see marketing to children, the problem of marketing to children, as being about rights and freedoms. In the United States, right now, we have an administration that talks about rights and freedoms a lot. Rights and freedoms. Well, I think this is about rights and freedoms. The administration is talking about corporate rights, but I'm talking about the rights of children to grow up and the freedom for parents to raise them without being undermined by commercial interests, without being undermined by greed. And so I belong to and work with a national coalition in the United States. It's called the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood. And we started in 2000. We are not large. We are not well-funded. We don't take corporate funding. We are not the Campaign for Commercial-Free Childhood brought to you by McDonald's or the Coca-Cola Campaign for Commercial-Free Childhood. We don't take money for corporations, and so it's always a struggle to keep going, but it's very important for us that we do keep going because we need to be a voice for children. When you think about marketing to children today, it's really important to remember that it's not like when you were a child. In 1983, in the United States, corporations were spending $100 million marketing to children each year, mostly on television. On television, because television was all there was. Well, now they're spending $15 billion marketing to children. When you were a child, probably there was just television. But now, parents are coping with television and the internet and movies, lots of movies. There were movies for children before, but there wasn't one every 2 months or one every month the way there is now. And radio. There was radio before, but radio stations weren't owned by television, by the people who owned television stations. So there wasn't all the cross-marketing that is going on now. Marketing in schools in the United States is a terrible problem. In 2000, the federal government said that marketing in schools is a growth industry with Coke and Pepsi leading the way. When corporations give money to schools, it's not for free. It feels like it's free, but it's not. It comes with the price. And the price is the hearts and minds, and sometimes the health of children. So, and now there's also marketing on iPods, MP3 players. There's marketing on cell phones, that's coming next. Television and the internet are moving, and we talked about this yesterday. It's all going to come on this little handheld device. And we're not going to know what our children are doing at all on screens. And that's where the marketing industry is going to reach them. The marketing industry isn't thinking just about commercials anymore. They're thinking about ways of insinuating their brands into the lives of children 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there are all these different kinds of marketing, and I'm going to be talking about some of them. But one that I have images of a lot of them. One I don't have an image of that may not yet be in Brazil, but will be coming, is viral marketing or stealth marketing. Stealth marketing is marketing in ways that you don't even know you're being marketed to. And one of the ways that companies are doing this, and these are multinational corporations doing this, one of the ways that they're doing this is to get kids to market to other kids. So there's Procter & Gamble has a division called Tremors. You can find it at tremors.com. And it's a division that has something like 250,000 young adults and teenagers actually working for Procter & Gamble, not for money, but they get free products. They get products ahead of other people. So Pringles, I notice you have Pringles here in Brazil. Pringles uses that. And they send kids products, and they encourage the kids to talk up the products to their friends. Sometimes, or often, without even telling their friends that they're doing that. I mean, think about what this means. Think about what it means to have a generation of children growing up where they don't know if a friend says, I saw a great movie last week, if the friend really liked the movie or is just saying the movie because the friend's actually working for a corporation. In the United States, again, we have an administration that talks a lot about values. Well, what about the value of honesty and integrity in friendship? What about that? That's being undermined by corporations in a way that it has never been undermined before. No generation of children has ever been marketed to as much as children are marketed to today. So, in 1998, a company in the United States called Western Media International, a market research company, did a study on nagging. This was not a study to help parents cope with nagging. It was a study to help corporations help children nag more effectively. They call it the nag factor. So that Kelly Stitt, who was brand manager for a kind of ketchup called Funky Purple Ketchup. Do you have Funky Purple Ketchup here? Well, who needs purple ketchup, really? But Heinz made Funky Purple Ketchup, and they marketed it. And this woman who was in charge of the marketing said, we really need that nag factor because we don't think that mom is going to notice Funky Purple unless little Susie is nagging her for it. And that was in the Wall Street Journal, which is a big deal in the United States. I mean, so the idea that corporations are encouraging children to nag, I mean, that's really troubling. And the thing about this study is that they talked to a lot of parents, mothers probably. They didn't say to the mothers, as far as I know, we are going to do a study that is intended to make your life miserable. So they did this study and they talked to parents about what their kids nag for. And they identified two different kinds of nagging. Importance nagging and persistence nagging. Persistence nagging is gimme, 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 gimme. That's effective, but it's not as effective as importance nagging, they discovered. Importance nagging is when children are encouraged to give a reason for why they need a product. And the example that they always give is, Mom, I really need Barbie's dream house because Barbie and Ken are going to get married and have a family. When people talk about how it's parents' responsibility, what I wonder is, what about corporate responsibility? What about societal responsibility? What is society's responsibility to children? Why in the world is it okay with us that corporations would make parents